FM Corner. I'm Danny Koontz, your host. Today, we're going to continue a conversation I'm having with Jason Brooks. Jason is a former operator, franchise consultant, owns his own company now, helps hospitality people kind of get time back in better ways to lead, manage, coach, those top items. And we started our conversation last week. If you weren't able to hear it, please go back and listen. We talked a little bit about his career path, what's important, what he kind of teaches people, mentors of his through the industry. And we're going to continue that conversation with some more questions today. Jason, you ready?
Oh, I am ready.
Let's do it. So when you are coaching or teaching or meeting with someone and they have, opportunities or things that they're wanting your help with, what's consistent, either good or bad, with people that you I'll equate it to this. In the days, if Ruby Tuesday and you said, Danny, come to my restaurants and walk around, I want you to give me a list of what needs to be done. Here's what I'm writing down before I ever get there. Tile and grout. Every store, doesn't matter. It's a given, damage on the fascia in the front of the restaurant where people congregate after they're done eating or before they go in. It's going to be scuffed up. Anyway, my point being, before I ever got to the restaurant, I could write 2 or 3 things down that I know are going to be on 99%. Well, what are 3 things per se that are consistent that people need help with, or something they do really well consistently?
Well, these days, just give me some strong Wi-Fi and it solves almost anything. No, but it is crazy how much IT and our FMs are like almost the exact same. It just depends on how big that your organization is. But strong Wi-Fi. Well, first, smart technology. Smart tech these days is what you really have to be successful with when it comes down to operations. Now, that doesn't mean that there isn't a large swath of restaurant owners, of restaurant brands that are still operating with, low tech, extremely low tech. But smart technology, you really have to be on top of that to be successful with operations, because we have reach-in coolers that is tracking the temperature of product in order to make sure that it's being held at a safe temp. We have different things taking temperature of actual product for you multiple times throughout the day in order to help track it, whether it's cooling or heating up. But that's one is smart tech. You need that to be successful with operations. Second, cost saving opportunities. With the price of everything going up, the price of everything increasing, has sales increased some? Yes, but a ton of that is from check increases, from us raising prices. But cost savings these days, I hate to say it's more front and center now than it has been, because I think it's always been at the front of everyone's mind, but there has been a deterioration of profitability within some organizations. Some have found ways to really make the profit work. But first, smart tech and then cost savings, because our FMs are a key part of finding ways of us to save costs, whether it's from leaky faucets, from light bulbs that aren't LEDs, from equipment that is extremely cold sitting next to extremely hot that is causing the other one to run more than it should, but finding ways to save money in places that isn't just food cost and labor. And then last piece is, speed. And when I say speed of the renovations, the refurbishments, all of the things needed these days in order to keep our facilities up. Gone are the days of the 20-year agreements to where you don't have to remodel for 20 plus years. Now it's like 7 years, 5 years, 3 years, that things have to be remodeled. So being able for our facilities manager to understand those three things: smart tech, cost savings. And if you're in a franchise model and you're having to do remodels, is knowing what is the truly most important thing that really needs to be done, leading back to cost saving and holding off on the things that we don't have to do.
Great answer. And the service company I work for now is based in Phoenix, and I work at home, and the internet was out for 3 days last week. And just, you talk about tech. So your techs are out there and they're on the job and so on, but they can't use their equipment that is on their phones and so on. And you literally go back to the days of worksheets and you fill them out while you're there and you do this. And I mean, just the change for a 48-hour period until it came back online, because we still have to do calls. We still have to take care of customers, but it's phone calls, it's text to somebody versus a system. There is no third-party CMMS program to upload. I mean, it's really old-fashioned. And the difference, and our CEO sent out a note to the whole company basically applauding everybody for working through it, but how difficult it was. And you just don't know until you don't have it, what you have. And then the equipment and items that you were talking about, cost savings. And I think that's where a facility manager could be great. And don't look for 2 million. How can I save 200,000? And I can remember I used to be, you go in most Ruby Tuesdays and you got faucets leaking or running all the time. And I would preach till I was blue in the face. And everybody go, okay, Danny, we'll do it. And then it never happened. All right, I got to get somebody to hear me. Okay, I'm going to break it down for you, because you don't pay utilities. I mean, utilities are, not part of your bonus or whatever.
Yep.
But there's a piece of it that affects your overall bonus. Okay. So I'm going to put out a note that says if you run your water 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 363 days a year, here's how much it costs. There's a percentage of that is affecting your bonus. Break it down to, this is how much money you personally are losing. Guess what? Everybody turned the sinks off. Because I had to get to something. It's like telling your kids.
Numbers. You got to break it down to the money.
Yeah, it's like telling your kids to clean their room. Why? Well, we're not going to the playground or whatever until it's done. Okay. You got a better chance of them getting it done then, But you got to find something. Okay, I'm going to talk about money that matters to the general manager, because if it doesn't matter, okay, the bill comes in, I forward it to corporate and they pay it and we move on, And it's just finding that and finding little things that you can help as a facility manager give to operations. That's not hard, Like if you tell me your refrigerator is not running, and this sounds really dumb. Hey, Danny, my refrigerator is not working. I'm going to ask one question only. Is it plugged in? Yep. And that sounds absolutely dumb, but it's the truth. And if a guy comes for that call,
it is on casters and people are moving it whenever they are deep cleaning and don't understand. If you pull it out just a quarter inch, you may think it's plugged in, but it's not really plugged in. You are absolutely right.
People used to tell me, they would say, how do I know my hood cleaners are cleaning my hood? Because they're here at 3 a.m. You ain't sticky pads? Yeah. Take some yellow sticky pads and stick them in the corners of the hood up really high the night they're supposed to come. If those sticky pads are there the next day, they didn't clean your hood right. If they're gone, they probably did. You don't have to know. You don't have to be there. You don't have to, just go look. That's simply that. That didn't cost you 3 cents. Just put them up in the hood, and if they're gone, they cleaned it. And if they're still there, they didn't. Then you need to call them. I mean, simply that, But those items that you mentioned, how critical that is for people to, help themselves, basically, paying attention, helping themselves. Is the hospitality industry harder today than, say, 10 to 15 years ago? And give me some yay or nay.
I'm going to already go with harder. Reason why I say harder is because we in our industry, we are typically late adopters. We drag our feet, kicking and screaming to make any kind of change at all, especially when it comes down to technology. As we all know, through COVID, we made a lot of adjustments, especially when it comes down to online ordering, which would then have us look at our tech stack, which then make us look at our cabling, which then made us look at our technology as a whole, and then what talks to what in order to keep up with product mix and sales mix of different items being sold through different channels, all that good stuff. And then even through just the amount of online ordering that increased during that time frame with the labor challenges that's still ongoing, and the level of automation that is now there, we have a lot of pieces that we didn't have before. Look at the model of the restaurant business. The model of the restaurant business probably started 400, 500 years ago in Europe. Small cafes that you came in and there was someone working back there, and you paid them some type of coin or something in order to get food made there, brought, consumed, and then you leave. That's the exact same process that we have for today. So we've been used to a ticket system, a verbal system of just a person walking in, placing a order, leaving a coin, getting food, and leaving back out. It's been the exact same. I say it's harder because we have had to shift a lot of how we view this industry and how we do it. So the technology and the level of automation now within our business makes it challenging. One more piece that makes it more challenging is the high turnover and the lack of genuine tribal knowledge. We were a industry that were known as, we've been working together in this building for so many years, and I know I can leave my personal luggage, my personal baggage at the front door, come inside, and in these four walls, things are going to hit the fan, and that's okay. I have your back, you have my back, and we are going to get things done. And when we clock out, then we can go home and we can take care of all that personal stuff then. During COVID, and again, there was a lot of turnover. There was a lot of trust that got shook because owners, operators had to make hard decisions because they didn't know if their business was going to be there the next day. And that's not just the restaurant industry. That's any industry. Sure. That amount of turnover reduced the amount of tribal knowledge, not tribal knowledge like, well, I saw Billy do this, so I'm going to do what Billy did, but truly understanding for the last 10 years, this is how we did what we did and why. And it's the 70% that's been there is training the 30% that's new. Now it's the 30% that's been there is having a tough time training the 70% that keeps on rolling over inside your four walls. And then the last piece that I think makes it harder, I still believe it boils down to profitability. The profitability aspect is still one of those things these days that makes it a bit more challenging to get done what restaurant owners and operators need to get done.
Sure. Great points. And I think, things are changing. I mean, lots of chain restaurants are struggling, or some of the chain restaurants that have went out recently or in the next 5 years are probably going to go out, The customer has changed too, and COVID some of that, but it was kind of moving a little bit before that. Gone are the days when, okay, I'm working in the corporate office, and okay, where are we going for lunch? That's an hour, hour and a half. We're going to talk about work and take our time and so on and so forth, and go eat and talk, and okay, then we're going to come back to work and we're going to keep going. Now it's like, okay, I'm going to go to a fast casual, for lack of a better term, not naming anybody, but I'm going to go to the counter, order my food. I'm going to go get my utensils. I'm going to wait. They're going to call my name. I'm going to come and get it, sit down. I'm going to eat it. I'm going to go get my own drink. And as soon as I'm done, I've already paid, so I don't have to wait for the server to bring me a ticket or whatever. And I'm going to get up and go. I'm managing the time versus the other way. And because time has become so critical with the communication piece and your phone and, instant access, that's changed a lot. I mean, I am so old, I can remember when you traveled, you put an itinerary out there that said, I'm flying to Atlanta today, and I'm going to look at restaurants in Atlanta, and I'm going to be at Perimeter Mall about 1. At 3 o'clock, I'm going to be at so-and-so. At 5 o'clock, I'll be here, because that's when people called you. It's the only way to call you.
Yep.
When you got off the plane, you went to the payphones to check in the office to send any messages. This is probably before your time, but Ruby's had a concept called async, which was a phone number for each person, each operations director, and so on. And all it was you called in 800 number, and if I wanted to talk to you, Jay, I don't talk to you, but you have a voicemail. And I dial your specific number, and I can leave you a message, because you didn't have a cell phone. There were no cell phones. And once you got that message, you called back. And if you were Sandy or Robert McClanagan in the day, and you wanted to send out a message to all the operational teams and support and whatever, that's how you did it. That's how you sent a message. And funny story, I quickly learned when Robert got on the async system one time and put everybody on blast, and he explained how important it was not to have a bird's nest in your sign. And he explained what would happen the very next time he ever went to a restaurant and there was a sign. It didn't take long. Everybody figured it out. That bird nests are not allowed inside your sign. It's a rule, and it's a costly rule. And in one of the funniest messages I'd ever heard, but that's how we communicated. Compare that to today, and stuff. And you're exactly right. It is. And in number of people too, like you said, the 30 and the 70, you used to have 70% of regulars and people that work for you for a really long time and so on. And now it's flipped. And that's not just hospitality. Our service industry, get a tech, they work for a little while.
Especially the service industry. Especially, I mean, it is hard for you guys right now.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you train them up, you get them moving, and somebody comes through while they're on the job and offers them $2 an hour more, and they're out the door.
Yep.
And you start all over,
Yep.
and they don't learn. And that's every industry, and it's hard to get people and to keep people, It's just really tough. Great answer. You wrote a book. Tell me about it.
The book is a bit uncommon. So when I set out for this project, it's a 6-year project. It's only 6 years. The book is titled Every Leader Needs Followers. Big words. Every leader needs followers. And it's the 10 keys to transform restaurant managers to hospitality leaders. Most books have chapters. Mine has keys. There are 10 keys that are in the book. And it's not a memoir about Jason Brooks and his struggles through the restaurant industry as a dishwasher. No, that's not what this is. I wanted to, make it actionable. I wanted to make it actionable and tactile because restaurant managers these days have less time. Just like you said, they have less time because this little black screen, this little black box has taken advantage of our personal time so much. It bleeds like no other, from personal to work, all day, all night long. So I wanted to make something that the operators and owners can look at what they wanted to see, get in the book, get out the book, and get back into the fire that they were in. So each key is actually written short, and each key has 3 sections. The first section of each key is called the main course, pun intended. So the main course is, it is a short read, but it is every single thing about that topic that's a quick read. The second part of each key is called the takeaway. Again, pun intended. The takeaway is a 3 to 5 paragraph summary of the main course. Let's say you want to check out, is this key something that I really want to read? You can then read just the takeaway and say, yes, actually, this makes sense. Let me go read this. Or if you read the main course 2, 3, 6 months later, you can go back and read the takeaway and get some of the highlights and say, oh yeah, I should be doing X, Y, Z. The last piece of each key, you have the main course, the takeaway. The last piece is called the angle. The angle is actually quotes from people that I've had the pleasure to work beside, and it's their angle on that key that can help owners and operators view that key in a different perspective. A lot of golden nuggets inside the actual angle section. So it's 10 keys. The goal is every 2 years to have a new edition. Now, there may be 8 keys that absolutely make sense for that time, but there may be 2 new keys that are coming in because of challenges that are in our industry. But it is a great book, very simple read, and it meets owners and operators where they are at right now.
That's great. Absolutely great. Thank you. My last question for you. Give me one important point to leave with our audience.
4 words: manage, lead, coach, repeat. The reason why I say manage, lead, coach, repeat is that one of the main keys in my book, there are 10 keys, but key number 5 in the book is titled Leading with the Right Mindset, Managing versus Leading versus Coaching. What that is that we have 3 mindsets that we weave throughout multiple times per day. Some of them we lean in on more than others. All 3 are important. There's one that we tend to kick to the side and not really lean in on, and we need to. But first, the managing mindset. We are in a managing mindset most times within our day. Why? Because it's a business first. It's a business that has people that helps with the facility management. It's a business that has people that sells tacos. It's a business that has people that serves drinks, but it's always a business first. So we are typically in that managing mindset for most times within our day. And there's nothing wrong with managing. Managing just gets a bad rap because there are bad managers out there. But managing is keeping a group of people within the guardrails to hit a certain point by a certain time within a certain budget. That's needed because we need to make sure we make the profits and have the business running within the guardrails that are set for our company. Nothing wrong with managing. Then there's the leadership mindset. Some people think that managing and leading is just about similar, but the leadership mindset is understanding the overarching view of the industry, of your competition, of the trends, of the challenges that may be coming down that others may not see. The leading mindset is also used when a group of people have run into a challenge that's so great they don't know what the next step should be or could be, but then that leader paints that picture so vividly that everyone's like, that is the answer. Why didn't I see this before? It's just that leader knows how to paint the picture and get a group of people to jump on the plane while it's being built. And they know they still got to build it, but they can see the destination because that leader painted that picture so vividly. So you have managing mindset, the leadership mindset, and then the coaching mindset. Managing and leading is like the mastery of large groups. Coaching is the mastery of one-on-ones and small groups. That is the mindset that most people leave behind. We tend to dabble in managing and leading, but making the time for the individuals that directly report to us every single week. Sounds crazy, but every single week, to get to know them, get to know their challenges, and help them reach their goals. Half the time, whenever we get those phone calls, that's at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., early in the morning, half the time it's because our person that works directly for us doesn't know if we truly understand them. They are second guessing. Well, if I make this choice, Danny's going to be mad. So let me check with Danny first, although it's just paper towels. I'm going to call him and say, we're out of paper towels. What should I do? And then it's like, we now have less time because we're dealing with all of these calls, all of these contact points. But when we can focus on the coaching aspect, let the individuals know that report to us. I know you. I understand you. I know you, your hobbies, your kids, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, what your goals are for you individually, within your department, within your role. I know all of that. Now our team is more likely to take medium risk for high returns because they know you know them. So when we get into that coaching mindset more, we're one, able to buy back more time, and two, be able to delegate more, and three, have that whole team ownership of the business because we are creating that space every single week for them to bring those challenges at that time to where we can really get things done. So most important thing for me, manage, lead, coach, repeat.
Great answer. On the coaching side, as people are coaching, do you agree that you don't coach everyone the same way? And I'm asking that because I've learned that through my career. It depends on the individual. You have some people that you need to be soft with, and you need to work to encourage and so on. You have old school people like me that you couldn't hurt my feelings if you tried. So just put it on the table and tell me exactly what it is and tell me what you want. Okay, we're good. I'll go do it, But different people, especially in our industry today, because we're having such a hard time keeping people on, finding the best approach for each individual. And that's hard. That's hard for people. It was difficult for me because that wasn't how I was taught, and had to learn that some people, are needed a little different style or a different way to be effective.
No question. Would you coach, and I know we are on the same page, but I don't think you would coach Kobe Bryant and Lamar Odom the same way. I don't think you would coach Michael Jordan and Dennis Rodman the same way. You wouldn't coach Tom Brady and Gronk the same way. On the same team. They are on the same team, but it's a different coaching style for each individual that is on your team. So you are spot on.
Great point. Great point. You're exactly right. Jason, we're about out of time here. You want to kind of let everybody know how they could get a hold of you if they have questions or book or anything like that?
You can always reach me at jasonebrooks.com. That's jasonebrooks.com. My book is actually on Amazon, paperback, hardcover, and digital. I actually have the book on my website as well, jasonebrooks.com/every leader. You can order my book from Amazon, but they will not sign it and send it to you. Anyone that orders the book from my website, I will sign it and send it to you myself. And then if you're ever lurking on LinkedIn, reach out and let's not just connect. Let's make conversation. We don't need more likes and more follows. We need more conversation around great things that we can be doing in this industry. So jasonebrooks.com or just hit me up on LinkedIn.
Great, Jason. Thank you so much for the time. Great to catch up. A lot of good information out there.
Thank you, Danny.
Please reach out to Jason and so on. And hey, it's great to be able to chat with you for a little while. Lots of great messages there, and I do appreciate it very much.